Hello everyone, welcome to the Geoecologist. I am Dr. Krishnanand and you have been watching my videos on evolution of geographical thought as well as physical geography on my channel. So in this session, we are going to learn about folds, its types and various characteristics. But before we go ahead, please like and subscribe to our channel and don't forget to share the videos with others as well. So now let's learn about this process called folds, which is folding, part of the horizontal earth movements. So as we have studied this in the diastrophism, that is basically the slow earth movements, right? So diastrophism, we find examples in this process. What we see is the folds and faults. So in this session we are going to talk about the folds, its various types and its characteristics. So let's learn about it. So first thing that we need to understand when we learn fold is that there are forces which act on Earth's crust from side to side, that is horizontally or tangentially. So that is important to remember here, horizontal or tangential forces. They cause a lot of disruption, that is important here. So disruption or changes in the horizontal layer of strata as they do involve compression and tension. So remember, compressional and tensional and shear forces as we have studied already in the diastrophism in earth movements. So what happens? There are various layers, right, that we know in the crust. So various layers of these sediments, what happens when there is this particular pressure on this? So what happens? The next thing that happens is gradually it starts folding up, right? So that is important, what is called folding process. Now we can divide these forces into two types. One is the forces of compression and the other is forces of tension, right? So remember, compression and tension we have already studied when we were talking about earth movements. So if you have not watched that video of earth movements, go back to the playlist and do watch it for the more clarity on these forces. So now let's understand these forces of compression and tension and how it impacts the surface of the earth. So let's understand. So these forces of compression involve pushing of the rock strata against a hard plane from one side or from both sides, right? So remember, if this is particular rock strata, right? So it can be forced from either both sides, or maybe if it is just coming from one side, as one side is just having another hard rock. So what is happening? This is what is pressing it against this wall. So what is happening is the compression, right? So rock strata also bend in same fashion. So remember, in the fashion of this compression, there is bending of these rock strata. So from where the force is coming, accordingly the bend happens in this particular strata. And remember, also it depends upon the material. If the material is soft, it bends. But if the material is hard, remember what happens? There is a fracture in the material, right? So that is important. So in this way, the compressional forces lead to the bending of rock layers and thus lead to the formation of fold mountains, as we know the example of the Great Himalaya. So folding process. So we have already studied in the geosynclinal theory as well. Now let's go further and study. So in the rock strata, it is primarily of sedimentary rocks. Remember, most of the folding that we study is basically in sedimentary rocks. And why? Because of the property of that rock. It is softer in nature, it is layered, and it gets folded in wave-like structure. Can you see this wave-like structure, right? What has happened? So these are the different layers what we observe here. So this process of bending, sometimes warping and twisting. Warping is also when it goes up, right? So warping and twisting, that is turning, so of rock strata is referred to as folding. So remember, folding is a composite process of bending, warping, twisting, right? So that is important under this process of compression that we study. Now, a fold may range from microscopic crinkle, that is very small, to great arches. So that is important of scale we are talking about. So it can go from a very micro to a very macro scale, and trough events to 100 kilometers across. So it can go for over 100 kilometers as well. So a complete fold is composed of arched portion. This arch, as we saw in the previous diagram. So this arch is called anticline. Remember, this is what is anticline, right? And when there is a depression, if it is folding downwards, so that depression, that is called syncline, right? So remember, this word anticline and syncline is going to come again and again when we are studying this physical geography, especially geomorphology. So now let's understand the various parts of this fold, the anticline, syncline, as we studied. So alternate crests and troughs, that is important here when we talk about folding of rock layers. It's like a wave as we study, isn't it? So what happens? There is an alternative crest and trough. That is important, right? So let's understand this anticline and syncline, which is the trough part is syncline and the crest part is anticline. And this particular what we see is the axis that we see, right? So this is the axis along which it has been folded, right? So this is the axis, and each side of this axis is called a limb, as we have left hand and right hand, remember? So fold also has left limb and right limb, if you see. Now let's look at this particular image. The limbs, or the flanks as they say, is sloping side from the crest to the trough. So what do you see here is this particular sloping slide. This is what is the flank or the limb as we say, right? Then we have axial plane. So this is in 3D, if you can imagine, this is a plane along which there is a folding happening. So this is the axial plane, right? And then axis of the fold is this particular line. So the plane is the entire 3D imagination. The line is just one line along which we see there is a fold. So that is the axis of the fold. So that is important here. Now, types of folds are the next part of today's session. So let's understand what are the various types. So the types of fold depend upon the nature of the fold. So how it is there, in what kind of pressure has come or the force has been exerted, and how this shape looks, as we study this as part of geomorphology. So remember, morph, that is shape, is important. So this geometrical appearances leads to different kinds of classification of folds. So the first type that we study is homocline. Now remember, homo is similar, same. So if you look at all these folds from the axis, all the angles are in a particular direction only at the same angle, right? So it is largely in those areas where the force, remember the force of compression, is uniform, and the material, right? The material is also of the same hardness. So uniformity is where this kind of homocline or homoclinal fold is found. That is important. Now, the next one is what we say is monocline. So mono is singular. So like a stair draped with carpet, there are steep dip at one or two places only. So what we see is this is the line, this is the axis. So these are mono. So this is singular, one line, right? So that is important here. In the singularity, what we study is the monoclinal fold, right? So we don't have homoclinal. Homoclinal means basically all these folds are having singular axis, but remember this is just one, so that is why it is monocline. Then structural terrace. Structural terrace, the word are structure and then we have terrace. So you remember going to a terrace. So this is what we have formed. This is what we say is the terrace, and these are the axis of the fold, right? So this is what is the terrace formation happening here. So if the fold is bending in a way where terrace is being formed, it is called structural terrace on the basis of this particular shape. Then what we have is the anticline and syncline. This we already learned, that is anticline, and this is syncline. So it can be of symmetrical nature as well, right, and asymmetrical nature as well. Symmetry is basically on the basis of this angle. So this particular angle is symmetrical or asymmetrical. It depends upon the nature of the fold. So if more force is from one side, so automatically we understand it is going to go further, and if there is something not coming from this side, so it is bending in one direction. So the axis of the fold is the determinant of this symmetry. So symmetry basically means one part and the other part are almost equal if you divide across the line of the axis. So it can be of symmetrical nature as well and asymmetrical nature as well. So this angle is variant in asymmetrical type. So in syncline as well, it can be symmetrical, asymmetrical, and anticline as well, it can be symmetrical and asymmetrical. But for your information, remember, most of the folds that is exposed to the Earth's surface, it is found larger part is asymmetrical only, because over the millions of years of this evolutionary history of the plate movements, there have been numerous times a fold has again refolded. So what we find is mostly is asymmetrical anticline fold or syncline fold mostly, but there are certain examples where we can find the symmetry as well. The next one is called overturn fold. Now remember, overturning is representation of what? The force has been extreme from one side, so it has continuously kept turning and turning and turning on this particular axis. So earlier the axis used to be like this, now the axis has turned like this. So this particular line has now gone on the lower angle, if you see, right? So this has happened, so this is important here. So it is overturned fold. The next one in line is called isoclinal. Now remember, we have learnt about monoclinal, that was singular. So isoclinal is again saying iso means similar. So two limbs dip in same direction but at the same angle. So it's not just dipping into the same direction. So if the force is coming from this side, what is happening? This limb and this limb is now going this way, it's bending, but remember this angle is also similar, then it is isoclinal, right? So for example, everywhere what we see is the isoclinal fold happening, right? So this angle is same apart from the direction which is same of all the both the limbs. Now the next one is chevron fold. So this is very interesting. It is very simple to understand. Chevron is basically this crest and trough which is very sharp. So remember, it's very similar to your zigzag toothbrush. So that kind of fold is called chevron fold. So such folds where the crests and troughs are sharp and angular, these are called chevron folds. So sharpness is one important thing here. Then we have recumbent. So the word is bent, it is bent, right? So recumbent is basically what? The fold in which the axial plane is absolutely horizontal. Now remember, when we learnt about the axial plane, it was supposed to be in 3D, right? It was supposed to be this. So when axial plane completely bends down to the parallel of this particular horizontal, right? Then this kind of fold is formed. So recumbent is one fold where the axial plane is almost horizontal. So remember, this is this particular layers as we see here. This used to be earlier like this. Now what has happened? This axis has now gone completely parallel to the base. So that is what we call as the horizontal recumbent fold. The next one is what we know by the name of drag fold. So remember, the word itself is drag. And what is here? Let's see. These are minor or smaller folds. Now the scale is very minor or smaller, formed when competent beds or the weak beds that we say moves over the incompetent beds. Now what we see is the force is so much that these weak beds, all right, are now carried away or dragged over one another, right? The axial plane was here, now it is bending, now further it is now going ahead. So what is happening? It is being dragged over this particular surface. So this is a stable surface and this fold is being dragged. So that is why it is drag fold, right? Then the next one is the anticlinorium and synclinorium. So remember, if you know anticline and syncline as we have learned, it is just a plurality. Remember, when too many anticlines are there and then when too many synclines are there. So together they are called anticlinorium or synclinorium. So they are largely composite large size folds that are important. So what we see here is, this is what we see again, this is largely an anticlinorium, right? And this is what we see is the synclinorium. It all depends upon what kind of force is coming, and it is largely a fan shaped structure. Now the next important fold that we understand by this word, that is nape. So many times people call it nappy, but it is basically a nape. So nape is what? A sheet of rock that has moved sideways over neighboring strata as a result of an overthrust or fold. So what happens? This was recumbent, right? And further the pressure kept on mounting, and what happened? This axis, remember this limb. So one limb of this fold now is pressurized and now it is going on to the other limb of the fold. So earlier this portion was supposed to be here, right? So if you look into this image carefully, what you see, if you want to fit this together, this part has to come here. But what has happened? Because of this force or thrust, what we say, now this portion has broken away and it has gone here. But it has not detached itself. It is part of the same fold. That's why it is not a fault. Now remember, it's just a thin line difference between this nepi and the fault that we study in the next lecture. So it is basically along this line which is called fault line or thrust plane, but remember it is part of the fold system only. So it is many times called over thrust fold. That's why it's NEP. Now the next classification is folding of rocks with depth. So now it's interesting that second part is the depth basis. So similar folding. So same shape downwards or upwards. Remember this kind of folding? Right? So if it is same shape either upward or downward, then it is called similar folding. That is one type. The next one is called parallel folding. The word itself is parallel. So what we observe here is the bedding plane remains parallel, right? So that is important here, that what we see is this parallelism happening between these bedding planes which are folded. So that is parallel, right? That is important here. Then what we have is very interesting, diaper fold. So if you know diaper, how it looks, so it is very similar to this. So what happens? Common on sedimentary beds where more mobile beds are found at center. So what happens is, this is the central part where this bed is more mobile. So it has moved across, it has moved up than these layers which are the upper layers. So that is important. Such folds are very common in salt beds in France. So remember, diaper folds are found in salt beds in France. Then disharmonic folding. Now the word is disharmonic. It means it is haphazard. It is not in harmony. So non-uniform throughout the stratigraphic column. So remember, it does not have any uniformity as we see. So this is what we call disharmonic folding. Then suprateneous folding. Now the word itself is supra, it is above. So when folding and sedimentation are contemporaneous, now what happens? One way the strata is folding as well, and what is happening? The external forces are now leading to this sedimentation as well. So on the layers, sediments are also coming in while it is folding. So what is happening? The sediments are deposited, and while it is folding, the same process keeps happening. That's why it is called suprateneous. So simultaneously, contemporary, what happens? Sedimentation as well as folding. The next one in this type is decollement fold. The word decollement basically means unsticking. So what happens? These layers and the above layers are not sticking together. Now the upper layers have become mobile and these layers are stable. So underlying beds are stable, but overlying beds are folding independently. So this is important here. It is called decollement fold, that is not sticking, unsticking. So now in this session, we have learnt about all the different parts of folds, its types, its characteristics. Now in the lectures to come, we are going to talk about the faults. So stay tuned and all the best wishes.